Welcome to No Bones Jones. Here we are in my garden, outside, my favourite environment to cook in. Anyway, I've been in hair and makeup for an hour this morning, and I can tell you what, I feel like a store model, but that's not going to happen. So, moving on from the awful jokes, Sandra Surtees kindly asked me to make a video for Shrewsbury Folk Festival's virtual event, which I am delighted to be a part of. Sadly, all festivals in the UK have been cancelled this summer, but my dearest and most trusted friends are with me today. My beautiful saucepans, there they are. The one on the end there I bought for £25 over 25 years ago, and it's still working today. I still make my food in it. It's really great. Anyway, so roll on 2021 and No Bones Jones will be back. In the meantime, should you wish to buy the No Bones Jones cookbook and remember the flavours, here it is. It looks like this. And you can go to one of any 800 independent bookshops in the UK, which is a great place to do your shopping. Keep it local. But if you want to buy it off the internet, you can do. Thank you very much. And here we have a quick hand wash. Well, not so quick, because we're going to do the backs of our hands, in between our hands, do the nails, round the thumbs. Let's really get those hands clean before we start work. And then this water is at 37 degrees in my festival hand washing teal unit. Really wonderful. And a clean tea towel. And now we are ready to start cooking. Puerto Rican stew. This dish was created on top of the men dips at the big green gathering. We'd run out of everything, and the only thing we had left was oregano, tomatoes. I managed to blag some peppers. We had onions, and so we came together with this dish. It is coconut and oregano and peppers and beans and tomatoes, and when you balance this, it's delicious. So the dish was born on top of the men dips, and it's been with us ever since, and it's been a firm favourite on the thing, on the circuit. And it is vegan, which is fabulous. So here we go. What's going in the dish? We have fresh peppers. I use yellow and red to get some colour. I have onions, coconut, red beans, sweet corn, some black-eyed beans, tomato, chilli, oregano. I use dried. You can use fresh if you have it. Seasoning and garlic, and that is all that goes in this dish. And so without further ado, we're going to start cooking. Now we've got the pan nice and warm. We have some oil in there. Not too much. And the first thing that goes in are the onions. Oh yeah. Now we have some yellow and red peppers. I love to get the onions in first because we can hard fry those. You've got some really beautiful colours coming together in this. I think they'll have all those peppers. It looks absolutely delicious. Now I've turned the heat down. The pan's nice and hot. I've turned the heat down. So what I'm going to do now is put my garlic on the top, and these flavours sweat through. It's really important, this is, that they sweat through the onions and through the peppers. Gently, gently, gently with the garlic. You don't want the garlic in first, you want the garlic on top. Now I should have a lid on this, which I will have in a moment. So as these are sweating down, I'm going to press on with a few other things. We put a lid on that, and we turn that down nice and gentle. We are going to let that chug along before the next process. Right, here we have, let's have a look in this pan. I've turned the heat down, a little bit too hot. It's all sweating together nicely. The garlic is sweating down beautifully. I can now stir it up. I've got a lovely temperature in that pan. Okay, the next thing I'm going to add is some chili. Not too much, a couple of teaspoons. That is really lovely. And I don't like it too hot, so normally if I'm on a festival I will add the chili at the end, and we always have a green chili relish, which is mint, chilies, ginger, all ground up, and then you can add that to the side for more heat if you so wish. So this is sweating along beautifully. These peppers are really leaching out. I really like this. This is just reminds me of festival work. So this is, we are really getting there with this. Now, what I'm going to add next is some oregano. Oh, this looks great. And on top of that, I'm going to add my cream coconut. And I am going to let that come together for a few minutes, just nice and quietly. Right, here we are. We'll see how we're going in our peppers. Everything is coming together beautifully now. I want to let this sweat together. You can really start bringing this coconut together. We want to turn the heat down. It smells wonderful. So we're going to turn this down now so it's just a gentle chug. And we're going to sweat these peppers up, and we're going to leach some of the juices out just very quietly. You can hear it's not frying hard, it's just a gentle fry. Oh, doesn't that look beautiful? Okay, so these have been sweating for 3 or 4 minutes. I've turned the heat back up and they're starting to get some heat back in the pan now. This is looking really good. So now we're going to add some tomatoes. These are just ordinary good quality tin tomatoes. Now we're going to, you can hear it bubbling away. So now we're going to bring this together. The tomatoes, the coconut, the oregano, the peppers. Normally if I was on a festival I'd have another pan here with all my tomatoes in it, all hot, ready to go, because then we keep the heat in the pan at a good temperature, because if you put cold tomatoes in it brings the temperature down. But because we're cooking so little, you can see that it's bubbling away nicely now. This is, everything is going to leach out of these peppers now into this tomato. We're going to create a cacophony of flavours. Right, the next thing, I'm going to season it a bit. That was salt and pepper I put in. I also put a bit of sugar just to counteract the vinegar in the tomatoes, just a little bit. So this is chugging along nicely now. I stirred it a couple of times. We are virtually done. What I'm going to do now is turn this down and just let it chug again and play another jazz tune. Okay, so while that's chugging away, sweating down, I'm going to play Swing 42, a little jazz tune, something I always like to do. Okay, so this is beginning to look great. So after a few minutes, everything is coming together. I've got some seasoning in there, I've got a little bit of sugar in there. So what I'm going to do is just try this before I put the beans in. And I like to put, if I was on a festival, I'd like to put the beans in hot, because then I don't drop the temperature down. So I would have a pan on this side with hot water and my beans sitting in that. But at home, you don't have to do that. That is tasting great. We want a little bit more salt. I like to season it before I put the beans in, and a good grind of pepper. Oh God. I can really feel that the flavours are beginning to balance. It's a little bit flat on the middle of my tongue, but this is going to now hopefully bring it all together. It is going to taste a whole lot better. So, another quick taste. It's looking great colour. That is great. It could do with a bit more heat for me, but those are great flavours in there. So, I'm very happy with this. Now I'm going to add my sweet corn, which gives a great yellow colour. Well, of course it does. And some red beans. These are tin beans. It's tin sweet corn. I love it. But my beans, my black-eyed beans, I soak and then I boil them. And these have been in the fridge, but these are a great bean. But you can buy these all tin. You can soak your own. So we're now going to bring this together. It will cool the dish down a little bit, but that's why I had mine hot, because I'm doing big panfuls. And when you turn the heat up on these big burners that I use, you'll burn the bottom. So I try to get everything hot in the pans. It makes it so much quicker for me. That was great. Right, my spoon. We're going to just try this again. I'm really happy with that. It's delicious. It can go out to the front of the food stand. Right, this Puerto Rican stew, it's really important that you focus on your temperatures. So when you get your pan, get plenty of heat into it, get those onions really rocking, get the peppers on top and your garlic on top of that. And once the heat is infusing into those onions and that peppers, then we can turn it down and put a lid on it. And your garlic flavors are just going to leach out of that garlic beautifully. Try and think of this as an arc, cooking on an arc, an arc like this. And at the bottom of your arc, you've got your onions and your peppers, and then you can cook it hard. And as you come to the top of the arc, that is when you want to put your lovely flavors on the top, your seasoning and your dry herbs, and so right at the end. If you have too much heat in your pan, you could be going over the arc and you'll never get it back. Everything at the top of the arc is leaching out of your peppers and onions, and that is when you want to season and finish it and turn the heat off, put the lid on it, it's done. And I always taste things when they're cooled down. I don't like to taste things boiling hot. Very hard on your palate if it's 70 degrees. I like things at 50, so I might take some out and put it on in a little bowl by the side and have my tasting bowl, and then I can taste it, and you can really tell what the dish needs. And that, I think, is the art of being a good cook. Thank you. This dish that I'm creating here are vegetable fritters. I first found these in Mysore, and they were so crispy, they were so delicious, they were utterly fantastic, and I thought, I've got to learn to make fritters in such a style. And it took a while to get everything. First of all, you need a very good fryer to get it up to temperature. Then you need a few of the right ingredients, and I love using broccoli, fennel and onions. It's more of a European tilt on an Indian dish, but I've got gram flour, gluten-free baking powder, salt and pepper, fennel seeds. I love fennel in them. And so that's it. Okay, so we've got a gram flour, 150 mils of gram flour in our bowl. I'm adding 160 mils of water, tap water, and now I'm just going to gradually bring this together. This will make fritters for 4 people. It's a very quick, simple job. And these ingredients, gram flour, you can always have in your cupboard. So we're going to put in 1 teaspoon of gluten-free baking powder. And I'm going to season it. And I'm going to bring in the black pepper. And now I'm going to bring in the fennel seeds. 2 teaspoonfuls of fennel seeds. So that is everything. We're going to bring this together again. Now we're going to add onion and some broccoli. Broccoli is great in this. You could use sweet corn, you could use most anything. The broccoli is raw. The onion is raw. But almost any vegetable, carrot is good, whatever you've got in your cupboard. So these are the fritters done. Okay, here we have our oil is up to temperature with my fryer. Now this fryer's got a story behind it. I was at a festival, I can't remember quite which one now, but it poured and poured with rain, and the poor old donut man went into liquidation. So he said to me, no bones, any chance you could buy the fryer off me? And he said, I've got to get rid of it, I'm skint, I need the money for the fuel home. So I bought the fryer and I had it serviced, and it's in an excellent fryer. So our batter's ready, our oil is up to temperature. We're just going to put a spoonful in, making sure you don't splash. Now these fritters, because it's a big well of oil and it's up to a good temperature, I can tell they're cooking well. It takes 2 or 3 minutes. I haven't got time to play a jazz tune, so we're just going to stand here. And I like to tease them in the oil. Everyone has a different way of cooking a fritter. I like to put them in 4 clumps, 4 spoonfuls, plenty of separation, and these are going to come out delicious and crispy. On the stand, we love to serve them with salad, with an accompaniment of yogurt and mint, and our homemade chili jam, which is on page 124 of the cookbook, and I'm sure some of you would have eaten the chili jam. It really is delicious, and we will be demonstrating that not in this series but in the next one. Right, things are moving along. Right, the fritters have been in for 3 or 4 minutes, so they are ready. They are golden, crispy, delicious. The broccoli's cooked, the onion's cooked, and here we have No Bones Jones fritters. Right, here we are. The fritters, they're out of the fryer. They're beautiful and golden. The bits of green broccoli in it, they look delicious. And people can see there's fresh veg in them, which I really love. These are gluten-free. These are vegan. I serve them with salad, with chili jam. You can have fritters with chili jam, fritters with salad, a myriad. I even do them with a curry top or a dal topper. They can even have Puerto Rican on the side. That's how I eat them sometimes when I'm on the festival and I'm hungry and I don't know what to have. One year at Glastonbury, my fryer packed up, and I can tell you, I didn't realise how many people would come to the front and say, some fritters please, and we would have to say, the fryer's broken down, and there were so many people who were disappointed. So what I'm going to do is now, this is our homemade chili jam, which is on page 124 of the cookbook. This is great for a starter at home with salad, or just as a snack, or if you've got guests coming round. It's colourful, it's delicious, and we're going to try one of these right now. Wow. The first one of the year. Oh yes, they're great. Please cook them, you'll love them. And the chili jam. Thank you. Okay, here we have Glom beans, so-called Glom. G-L-O-M, stands for garlic, lemon juice, olive oil and mustard. I use French mustard. The reason I have that is because when I started 25 years ago, we didn't have recipes. I would just dream things up in my head, and it's easy to remember a Glom dressing, and I use it a lot. So first of all, olive oil. This one I love to serve at the Folk Festival, and I serve it on green beans which I've boiled. I probably do 3, 4 kilos, 5 kilos maybe in a pan. Take them out into a big gastronome tray, make a big dressing, good old size dressing, maybe half a pint. Pour it all over them, and what they do is, when it's really hot, they infuse, and they become utterly delicious with the heat of the infusion. Really transforms this dish. So we have olive oil, lemon juice, garlic crushed, 1 clove, 2, as you like. I love the stuff. So, and then French mustard in copious amounts. This is lovely. And when the beans are hot, when they're fresh out of the pan, or whatever you put it on, I love it on potatoes. I serve it on potatoes at home with peas. So I'll have the hot potatoes out, new potatoes, and then I will add the dressing and then add the peas in, stir it together. That's delicious, served hot in the winter. And in the summer, I would do exactly the same thing. Add the dressing to the hot potatoes, let them chill, and then add peas in that again. It's still really delicious. So these beans have been cooked. This is our dressing, and I serve these at 5 o'clock at Shrewsbury Folk Festival as something extra, something that's just a surprise for the fantastic guests of that incredible festival. And when these are on the side of your plate, I think everyone loves a green bean, and with a good dressing, served hot. And then what I could do is I would serve them hot and put them in the fridge overnight. I've got a big walk-in fridge, and I would serve them in the salad the next day. Many uses. It's a fantastic dressing. Get into this one, and it's on page 106 of the No Bones Jones cookbook, but I've just given you it now anyway. Thank you.